Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to episode 88 of DSP versus the Internet. If you missed the big announcement last week, we are counting down the end of the show, the final episode, which will actually be in 2 weeks' time. Episode 90 will be the final show of the 2-year-long running DSP versus the Internet project here on DSPReacts. Now, not to say that I'm not going to be doing React content, but I'm going to be doing more long-form content. The show format will change. Therefore, it makes sense to make a whole new project and show, okay? So, thank you so much to everyone over the last 2 years that has supported this series. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let's send it off with a bang with the last couple of episodes starting today and then 2 more, all right? So how does it work? People who are channel members of this channel submit clips. Those who are Ultra members are guaranteed to have their clip watched, while those who are standard channel members, submissions tier members, get to submit clips that go into a randomized playlist. We hit random, and then YouTube decides what we watch or what we don't watch, okay? We're starting with the Ultra member clips for the week. Today is actually October 28th, 2024, so therefore we're going to have some more horror-themed, Halloween-themed things today, but next week, probably that will all dry up, you know? So let's see how this goes, folks. Ready? Let's do it. And by the way, if anyone does any contribution this afternoon, I will shout it out live on the stream and give you a pop-up animation. If anyone tags me and wants to talk about a topic of something we're watching, I'm down for that too. Okay? All right. Without further ado, let's get going. So this is Dead by Daylight, all 33 killers explained for beginners. It's an hour and 30-minute long video. No, I will not be watching the entire video, but let's watch a few minutes of it just to get a taste. I may be playing this game on Halloween during my Halloween marathon, so maybe I can learn a little bit about these characters. That would be pretty cool. All right. All right, here we go.
DBD has 33 killers, all with unique powers and characteristics, and while some are very simple to understand, others not so much. So let's take a look at each of them, and if you need to, check the timestamps below. The Trapper is a setup character with average speed and a normal terror radius.
I don't even know what he first said. The Trapper is a what character? I didn't even hear what he said. The Trapper is a character. He's such a heavy accent. Like, oh man, I don't know what he's saying. All right.
He's the character you will do your tutorial with.
A setup character? So one of the starter characters. You just said starter character. Would make sense. Okay.
He starts the trial with 2 bear traps in his inventory by default, and the 8 additional bear traps will spawn scattered close to generators that you can pick up by interacting with them. You can carry a maximum of 2 bear traps, and when you reach the max, he will make a sound. By using and holding your power button, you can place and arm a bear trap below. You can also rearm a disarmed bear trap on the ground instead of picking it up. Anytime you set a bear trap, you will also get a speed boost for 5 seconds in order to help you move around the map and catch up to survivors.
So, I played Dead by Daylight last week, and I played through the tutorial before I played it online. And what I can tell you is the one major criticism I have of the game, it uses right bumper for way too much. It's like, use right bumper to set a bear trap. Use right bumper, or is it right trigger? It's one of the buttons. It uses it way too much. It's like, you set an item, pick up the item, pick up a survivor that you've downed, hurdle over things. It's like, it does everything. It's like it's a overused button. And you look at your controller, you're like, dude, I have like 17 buttons on my controller. Half of them are not used for this game. Why is everything the same button? It's frustrating because you'll have a bear trap and there'll be a survivor and you'll want to like grab the survivor who's downed and you'll keep interacting with the trap instead. Like, So that's like the one criticism I have of the game. Outside of that, I played it on PC and the game runs beautifully now and it's really fun, so.
When a survivor steps over a bear trap, they become immobilized. They get injured if they were healthy, and also they will scream and make a loud noise notification, which reveals their location in case they are far away from you. If you come to a trapped survivor, you can hit them, downing them in the process, or you can just pick them up.
Oh, you can pick them up out of the trap.
Be careful, because just like survivors, if you walk over a bear trap yourself, you will get temporarily stunned.
Oh,
this
really?
Is especially dangerous if you're carrying a survivor, as they will escape from your grasp.
Oh, that sucks.
A survivor that is trapped can attempt to free themselves, which can take up to 6 tries. Another survivor can help them escape the bear trap faster. If a survivor finds an armed bear trap, they can disarm it by interacting with it, which will cause a loud notification for the trapper, alerting you to their location. Despite being a very straightforward character, the Trapper requires a lot of map knowledge to use, as you need to place your bear traps to control
True.
one specific part of the map, or
Right.
place them in strong loops or narrow hallways to prevent survivors from running there and create choke points. Just remember not to put your bear traps too close to the window, or survivors will be able to jump over them. And also, don't put the traps in the middle of pallets, and survivors can just throw the pallet down
Just jump right over
and
it.
hold
There's
them.
no point.
Random traps in the most common survivor hotspots is also an amazing idea, as it will make survivors more paranoid, forcing them to play more carefully in order to prevent getting trapped. You also need to be careful of your own trap placement, as survivors have a smaller hitbox than you, meaning that if you place a bear trap poorly, survivors will be able to squeeze through it while you can't,
You get
forcing
caught.
you to either get stunned or to grab it from the ground.
This is a good video. Very good oversight and general knowledge of the character. I'm learning right away. This is neat to know, because if I play on Halloween, maybe I'll use the Trapper. Cool.
The Wraith is a stealth killer, with an average speed and tear radius, and with one of the easiest powers in the game, so I heavily recommend him if you just started to play. The Wraith starts the match cloaked, which makes him partially invisible and also undetectable, which means he doesn't have a tear radius, doesn't have the red stain in front of him.
Gilded Spider, your messages are working. What are you talking about? I can see you. Yeah, what are you talking about? I see you, Gilded Spider. He says, my message is not working. I can see you. Oh, he's saying his YouTube is lagging. Oh, okay. Cool.
And his aura cannot be revealed by survivor perks. While cloaked, the Wraith is very fast, moving significantly faster than survivors, but he cannot attack. However, what he can do is break pallets, walls, generators,
okay. You break everything.
and open lockers. From a survivor's point of view, when they are 20 meters close to the Wraith, they can see a faint shimmer as well as hear
like the
his
Predator.
loud breathing noise. So attentive survivors will be able to know your location even if you are cloaked. However, from 20 meters away, the Wraith is completely invisible. This also happens if you stand still, but there is no reason to do that. In order to attack survivors, Wraith has to uncloak, and this can be done with his wailing bell. By ringing his bell while cloaked, you will slow down a lot, and once you fully reveal yourself, you will get a short speed boost to help you catch up to survivors, which you can use to attack in order to gain a very insane lunge attack. You can also use the bell again at any time in order to cloak yourself, which won't reduce your speed and will make you invisible again. The bell noise can be heard from 24 meters away. However, the cloaking whoosh noise can be heard 40 meters away. Be careful, however, because if you are stunned while you are cloaked, the stun will last for 4 seconds and you will get automatically revealed. The biggest asset of the Wraith is definitely his speed, and you need to use it to traverse all around the map in order to surprise survivors and catch them off guard with your invisibility. Mastering the short speed boost after uncloaking is crucial in order to get some nasty hits in certain loops, making them unsafe for survivors. Don't forget that you have collision while invisible, so you can body block survivors that attempt to escape while repairing a generator, or block their path towards a window or a pallet to secure a hit thanks to your speed.
I'll be honest, like a lot of people, when I played this the other night, I used the Hillbilly, and everyone told me the Hillbilly's way too hard as a starter class, you know, not knowing what I'm doing. And I probably should have listened, but, you know, I'm stubborn. I wanted to try him anyway, and I didn't do very well. But this class, I don't know if this is for me. I think the Trapper might be more my style, where I can lay traps strategically in certain areas and try to trap people and then go clobber them and knock them down. This, I don't know about, like, you're cloaked, but then when you come out of the cloak, you get one chance to attack, but then you're slow. So basically, you're only fast while cloaked. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Just be careful while body blocking, because by doing it wrong, you risk getting stunned, and that 4-second stun hurts. The Hillbilly is an aggressive killer
So here we
with
go.
average
This is who I used, and I didn't do very well.
speed, a normal turn radius, but one of the most mechanically complex powers in the game. The power is pretty simple to understand. It's a chainsaw. By using your power, you can charge your chainsaw, and once charged, you begin a chainsaw sprint, moving insanely fast with
Wait a minute, I couldn't do that. Did they change this? Because he doesn't do that anymore. When it charges, he just immediately lunges and attacks. He does not do that sprint anymore. At least when I played, he didn't do it. Unless there's a way to do it, because he would not do that. Like I said, it would keep filling, and once it filled, he would immediately lunge and stab, and that was it. He wouldn't continuously run like that. So I don't even know how they're doing that unless they've changed the game.
Limited turning control. The chainsaw is also insanely loud, so survivors will know when you are using it. If you hit a survivor with it, that survivor will instantly be put in the dying state. If you hit a wall, you will get stunned in place. And if you hit a pallet or breakable wall, you will break them. You can also stop the chainsaw at any point if you stop holding your power button.
Yeah, when was this video uploaded? This was uploaded a whole year ago. And that's, like I said, when I played, I swear he doesn't do that. What happens is that meter fills up. He says use chainsaw. Once it fills, he immediately swings, and then you're basically like stunned and slow, and then you have to start charging it again. So it doesn't seem to me like this is correct. At least per when I played it last week, it didn't seem to control like that. But maybe I'm wrong and I was misunderstanding and I was doing something wrong. I actually don't know.
Hillbilly has an annoying mechanic called overheat. The more you use your chainsaw, the hotter it will get. If you reach the maximal threshold, you will have to wait until your chainsaw cools down before you can use it again. However, if the chainsaw overheats while you are sprinting, you won't get interrupted, and instead, the cooldown period will only start after you stop. There are two important mechanics to know with his chainsaw. The first one is that you can feather your chainsaw, which means you can tap the button to charge it instead of holding it, so you have more control over your chainsaw, either to fake it or to cancel it. This is especially useful when you are close to a survivor in order to insta-down them. The second important feature is that at the start of every chainsaw sprint, your sensibility will increase by a lot, which makes it possible to curve your chainsaw, allowing you to take some insane corners if you master it. Hillbilly is a very difficult killer to master, so my biggest advice for beginners is to use your chainsaw to traverse around the map in order to find survivors or pressure them off generators, and try to use it aggressively in safe places like dead zones or when you catch survivors very close to you.
So what he's saying is when you go for the chainsaw swing, you basically get such a crazy control and speed boost. You can like go crazy around a corner. Again, I'm going to be honest, it didn't seem to work like that for me. It seemed like, again, he just immediately swings. There's no dash. So because he immediately swings, unless the enemy's right in front of you, you just bounce off whatever and you get stunned. Maybe they nerfed the hillbilly. I don't know. Did they? I guess you guys would know better than me, because he did not play like this when I played last week. It was just, basically, it was, what was it, left trigger, right trigger? Well, I was using controller. So it was like you charge it, it was left trigger. You charge it up, and you could tap, like he said, you could tap. But the moment that meter filled, he just swung. There was no dash at all. He just swung. And that was it. And I was like, oh. So I don't know. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I misunderstood it. I don't know. It didn't seem to operate that way.
As a tip, look down when you're charging your chainsaw close to a survivor in order to make it easier for you to hit it. Mastering the curve will take a lot of time and practice, and part of it is knowing which surfaces you can slide off and which ones you cannot. But there are plenty of amazing resources around YouTube in case you fall in love with the Hillbilly's playstyle. I strongly recommend DSPReacts for his amazing Hillbilly gameplays and his guide that is still great to this day. The nurse is a very unique aggressive killer, with the slowest speed out of everyone, a basic third radius, and the strongest power in the game by far. When I said the nurse is slow, I meant it. She is slower than running survivors. This means that you are forced to use your power in order to chase survivors. Her power is the blink, and she has two of them. By pressing and holding your power button, you can start charging a blink, which will slow you down. The longer you charge it, the further you will blink, up to 20 meters. After you use your first blink, there is a short period of time where you can either attack or charge your second blink to chain it and blink again, but you can also wait it out. Once you blink, miss, or attack, the nurse will enter a short fatigue period where your screen will obscure. You will look down, and you cannot attack nor charge your blink again. Blinks need to be recharged after you use them. so it's recommended to not use both of your blinks constantly unless you are sure you can get a hit. Your blinks also make a lot of noise, so survivors will be able to hear you no matter where you are. The thing that makes this power so strong is the fact that the nurse can bypass any walls, windows, and pallets with her blink. You can even teleport across ceilings, making her an insane monster in specific maps with 2 floors. The only things she cannot bypass are map borders, so be careful, as some maps have these borders inside the playable area, which will interrupt your blink. The key to playing the nurse well is to learn her blinking distance with muscle memory, and blink with precision on top of survivors so they have no chance to dodge.
So basically, she doesn't play like the other hunters, because the other hunters, or killers I should say, chase down the enemy and attack. She has to just keep charging the blink and teleport in to the enemies. So it's a unique attack style, but it's very powerful. Okay, got it. I like that. Let's watch 1 or 2 more and then we'll go to the next video.
Activated. The Shape, also known as Michael Myers, is a stealth killer with unique speeds and terror radius during the match. Let's talk about it. His power is called Evil Within, and it has different tiers. Myers will start the match in Evil Within Tier 1, and in this state he is undetectable, but in exchange he is slower than usual and also has a very short attack range. In order to increase your Evil Within level, you have to stalk the survivors. By pressing and holding the power button, you enter stalking mode. In this mode, you move slower, and the moment you stalk a survivor, you become even more slowed down. Stalking a survivor will absorb their evil, which is something that doesn't reset. This means that you can stalk a survivor so much that they no longer feel your evil within. The redder their aura is while stalking them indicates how little evil they have left. You also absorb their evil faster the closer you are to them. And by the way, despite looking like you do, you can only stalk one survivor at the same time. So if there are multiple survivors, you will only stalk and absorb the closest survivor to you. Also, you lose collision while stalking, so you cannot body block a survivor. Once you stalk enough survivors to feel your evil within, a global sound will be heard all over the map.
Uh-oh. Well, that's cool.
Congratulations, you are on Tier 2. On Tier 2, Myers will have a 16-meter terror radius, which is half of the basic one. You also move with normal movement speed, your attack range is normal, and you vault windows a little bit faster. In this state, you basically play like a normal killer with a smaller terror radius, and this will be the tier you will be for the majority of the match. And by stalking enough survivors to completely feel your Evil Within Tier 2 meter, you will enter Evil Within Tier 3, and all survivors will hear this menacing tune.
Nice. I actually really like that. That has the Michael Myers theme.
Will only last for 60 seconds, but during those 60 seconds, all survivors will be exposed, which means you can instantly down them with one hit.
Wow.
Your terror radius increases to 32 meters, which is the normal size. Your attack range increases, and you vault windows even faster. However, you cannot stalk survivors, and also you move at normal speed. Once the duration ends, you will return to Tier 2, and you will have to stalk survivors again to reach Tier 3. No matter what, you cannot return back to Tier 1. The first thing you need to do as Michael Myers is to level up to Tier 2 as soon as possible. So find a survivor early, stalk them, and only then you can play the game normally. A crucial tip into playing Myers well is to stalk survivors enough to almost reach Tier 3, and this way you make sure that you activate your power only when you need it, for example when chasing a healthy survivor. So don't waste your Tier 3 against injured survivors. Another tip is that you want to get the maximum value of your limited power, so sometimes it's best to down a survivor and instead of picking them up, you leave them on the ground to slug them. You can also hook them while in Tier 3 in order to force the survivors to act, as most survivors play in a very safe way once they know you are on Tier 3. Remember that there is a limited amount of stalking points per survivor, so try not to milk them dry in order to be able to activate your Tier 3 whenever you need it. The Hag is a setup killer.
All right, I think that's enough. I mean, we just watched it for over 15 minutes, but that's interesting. I like that. So you start off completely invisible, and all you're doing is you're stalking people. And then once you get to tier 2, you're a regular killer. And then when you get tier 3, you're like super powered. You can down people instantly. That's cool. All right, let's go to the next video. Good video submission. Obviously, I'm not going to watch an hour and a half, but we learned a lot about the basic killers of the game. And like I said, if I play it on Halloween, I'll probably use some of that knowledge I just learned. There we go. Cool.
Chuck E. Cheese is one of those North American staples that anyone with a childhood in the last 40 years can remember.
I went to Chuck E. Cheese at least 2 or 3 times when I was a kid. Once, I don't remember if I ever had my own birthday party there. I think I was at someone else's birthday party there. Maybe I had a birthday party there. I can't remember. But I distinctly remember being in the arcade there. That was my favorite part.
Somehow, Chuck's has managed to bridge the generational gap between millennial age groups, uniting us all through the same weird shared experience. Who could forget the sea of arcade games?
Yep, that's what I remember. Of course, this is late. Like, I did it in the 80s and 90s, so it was completely different kind of arcade games for me.
The pizza.
I don't remember the pizza whatsoever. I don't remember even eating it.
The animatronic in-house band.
I actually don't remember that either. I remember the room where you would eat the pizza and there was the stage, but I don't actually remember the band playing. I don't think I paid any attention to it.
If I close my eyes, I can almost hear the sounds. Shh. Do you hear it? The sound of the ticket muncher. The frantic laughter. The joyful chorus of happy birthday juxtaposed by the sound of a screaming child that just cracked himself in the head with a skee ball after a wildly inappropriate overhand throw. The place was a blast, and if you were fortunate enough to have a birthday there, you were given the VIP treatment.
Oh, really?
I mean, you got a sticker, a balloon, high fives from Chuck himself. You were the king. But shortly after, you'd be ushered into an assembly line of birthday parties with rows of other kids who had the exact same sticker and the exact same balloon. As a 6-year-old, this was one of those subtle realizations that you weren't actually all that special. Regardless, the overall consensus by most of us is that Chuck E. Cheese was a positive experience as a child, something that we can remember fondly from our youth. But over the past 12 years or so, with the rise of cellular cameras, guests have begun to capture a different side of the restaurant. And it is absolutely insane.
What the hell?
2 brutal brawls this week at the same Chuck E. Cheese restaurant
Why?
in San Bernardino County.
Suspended with a expired CCW permit.
What is going on?
Sir, can you please give me some help?
Now this is a place where kids go. Unbelievable.
What is going on?
Hospitality.
The number of
Now that's hospitality. But I mean, if anything, this show, the problem isn't the business. The problem is the people, right? I'm sure that the business doesn't start the fights, right?
violent outbreaks that occur at Chuck E. Cheese on a yearly basis is absolutely staggering. To quote numbers, certain locations like the one in Pennsylvania had the police called to their location 17 times in 18 months. Another location in Amherst, New York had 123 calls to police in a 3-year time frame. Violent outbreaks range from fistfights to knife attacks to even a handful of fatal shootings.
What the
I mean,
hell?
you don't even see this much action at a Dave & Buster's. The whole thing makes you wonder, what happened to all the wholesome experiences we remember as kids? You know,
Yeah, when I was a kid, everyone knew it as a safe place. I mean, yeah, I think even then, parents knew it was a ripoff. Like, you're going to overpay for whatever you're getting there. But I don't think anyone worried about it being a violent place. That's pretty crazy.
Chuck E. Cheese lighting a menorah for a bunch of Jewish kids kind of wholesome.
We need you to light the shamash, the tall candle in the middle. Light that menorah.
With a little digging, you can find headlines that go as far back as 2005 regarding countless instances where violent outbreaks have occurred. As we move into the 10s, the amount of recorded fights is almost overwhelming. I mean, literally just search Chuck E. Cheese fight on YouTube and you'll find a curated playlist of 91 different videos.
Wow.
This one's my favorite, where the guy in the green shirt looks like he's winding up for the meanest sucker punch of his life, but it turns out he's just applying hand sanitizer while two women go at it in the background. As for the company's response to all these incidents, well, from the looks of it, Chuck E. Cheese has essentially been playing PR dodgeball for the past 15 years, with public statements that never really address the issue directly. The company makes an effort to point out the 99.9% of guests that come to their restaurants without incident, while claiming to have spent over $15 million on measures to improve safety. One of those initiatives included an improved security camera system, and as we all know,
What would that do? Who cares? These people, if they're going to act up, they're going to act up if there's a camera or not, right? They don't give a shit if they're on camera.
security cameras don't really improve safety. They
Right.
just ensure that the next ball pit RKO is caught in glorious 240p. There's clearly more issues at play here. It comes as no surprise that birthday parties are stressful situations for parents, especially at public establishments. Everyone involved wants things to go smoothly, and when it's every kid's special day, tensions can start to rise. Incidents have spawned from anything as simple as disputes over tickets to a child taking too long to choose a prize. Petty arguments that end up having pretty extreme outcomes. But even with the hectic atmosphere and birthday stress, there's one factor that rises above all else. Turns out, Chuck E. Cheese franchisees have the option of applying for alcohol licenses, granting them the ability to serve beer and wine to adult guests.
I mean, is that really it? Is that the answer is it's just they're serving beer and wine and people can't hold their liquor? If that's the case, why isn't this happening every single place in these states where there's liquor sold, right? I don't know about that.
From a business standpoint, it's genius. Sure, the place is for kids, but what if we found a way to capitalize on all the adults? It's a no-brainer. But from a liability standpoint, it starts to look like a much dicier operation, at least at face value. CEC Entertainment will say that their 2-drink limit on adult guests prevents the possibility of alcohol-fueled.
It's a 2-drink limit? Then definitely that's not it. There's no way that you're going to get that rowdy and drunk off of 2 drinks and you're going to start causing fights. That's insane to say that.
Arguments. Well, that's at least comforting.
Chuck E. Cheese has a policy of serving only 2 alcoholic beverages per adult.
But when she wanted 2 more, she's told how to get around their 2-drink limit.
We just need someone else's ID. Someone else's ID, and then I can order 2 more, but just with somebody else's.
Okay. Pack it up. Yeah.
Wow.
We got it. Now we're good. This kind of publicity is just another nail in the coffin for Chuck E. Cheese.
So they literally just immediately exposed it. Immediately Inside Edition exposes it. I'll just need another ID. Then we can do another 2 more drinks. So one person can go in there and share 7 IDs and have 14 drinks if they wanted. Jeez.
A company that has been over $1 billion in debt since 2014. The truth is, Chuck's balance sheet has never been great. The restaurant has filed for bankruptcy twice. Once just after the video game crash of 1983, and another in 2020 when the company was forced to close during the pandemic. Tack on violent news headlines, accusations of the irresponsible vending of alcohol, and an inaccurate yet overly publicized scandal about recycled pizza, and you've got a pretty rough brand image. So bad, in fact, that Chuck E. Cheese practically changed their name during COVID.
Yep, they did.
Let's just say the company took some pretty drastic measures to make ends meet when the
I know about this because it happened in my area. So you're searching for food delivery in your area, and all of a sudden, there's this place that pops up on the delivery services, and it's like Papa Vinny's or something. So it's not like Papa Murphy's. You know what Papa Murphy's is. That's the one that you bake in your own oven. It was something else like that. And you're like, what the hell is that? So I bet a bunch of people tried to order. You know, it was them. They were only sending in their kitchen crew, and they were making the Chuck E. Cheese pizza, and they were delivering it under a different name via the delivery apps to try to make money during the pandemic. So you wouldn't know you're buying Chuck E. Cheese pizza, and you would pay like a premium price for it, thinking it was like a real restaurant, and it wasn't. What a rip, right?
pandemic hit. To make a long story short, if you ever ordered from Pasquale's Pizza...
Here it is. Yes, that's what it was. Pasquale's. That's what it was. Yep, that was here. I saw on my delivery app in 2020.
...wings on Grubhub or Uber Eats, then congratulations. You literally ordered takeout from Chuck E. Cheese. This was all part of a temporary rebrand to establish ghost kitchens inside of recently closed locations. Since the restaurants couldn't open, but still had the infrastructure to serve pizza, the company would simply list themselves under a different name on food delivery apps to make some extra money.
Yeah.
And since you'd have to be a psychopath to willingly order takeout from Chuck E. Cheese, the company made a harmless little name change to appear more enticing. Of course, you can't blame franchisees for trying to make ends meet, but the company still caught some bad press for it. The truth is, Chuck E. Cheese has never been too good at finding ways to improve sales. Throughout the last 40 years, the restaurant's knee-jerk response to slipping revenue has always been that Chuck just isn't cool enough. As a result, Chuck has undergone a myriad of makeovers over the past 40-plus years, going from cigars to skateboards to electric guitars. This kind of response comes as no surprise from a company that owes a huge portion of its success solely to its mascot. The character's been a tried and true hit for decades, and to this day, kids still come to the restaurant just to get a chance to see Chuck himself. Originally, when Chuck E. Cheese's competitor, Showbiz Pizza, bought out Chuck's in 1985, all Showbiz locations were actually turned into Chuck E. Cheese's instead of vice versa. A large part of the reason was owed to the fact that Chuck was just a bigger hit with kids than Showbiz's Billy Bob the Bear. Since then, the company has always been looking for new ways to bring in customers, from the constant mascot reworks to menu changes to even removing their entire animatronics show from most locations.
Yeah.
Most recently, the restaurant has been working to reinvent itself in an attempt to capture the attention of millennial parents. These changes include free Wi-Fi, fancier pizzas, and even craft beer choices. And no, this is not satire. In all honesty, the whole thing is kind of an eye roller. But it's not like there wasn't some sense to it. Millennials are the ones taking their kids to Chuck E. Cheese, so it's gotta be attractive for the adults too. And as a Gen Z/millennial hybrid myself, I had to admit those craft beer options did sound pretty good. So I decided to do some field work. I was on a mission.
He's gonna do it? All right, I want to see this, but here's the thing. Let's split the part. Now, see, here's the deal, guys. This is a 15-minute long video. I'm really enjoying it, and I want to watch the rest of it. This is the kind of longer video I'd like to watch in a future version of this show. This show is supposed to be a clip show, but I'm liking this video, and I want to keep watching it. Do you see? So, moving forward, now that we're going to change the show format later on this year, this would be the perfect kind of video to submit. All right? So, let's actually take a break, split the part. When we come back, we'll continue with this video, see to the end of it, and then we'll go on to the next. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in part 2.